and we have our new guest, Lazar Spasic. Well, Lazar, it's a great pleasure for me that we can welcome you in the podcast of Basketball Insights with Mladen. And just for our viewers, I would say what I am thinking about you. I think that you are one of the, let's say, maybe the biggest prospects in the new generation of basketball coaches if we are talking to Serbia, because I am always respecting if a coach from a younger generation gets chance making good results. We can say for you in your career that you was working in Mladost Zemun, then in Boljevac, Leskovac, and then in Vrsac you was making really great results, winning also KLS. And after you get a chance to be first assistant in Oldenburg in German Bundesliga, then you became the head coach. You was making a very nice winning run with Oldenburg. I think that you was changing really good things in Oldenburg when you was the head coach. And we can say for our viewers that at the moment you was signing a long-term contract with Sabah, what is a very interesting, I think, basketball project. But about this, maybe you can talk for us. First, I would give you the word for you, and I would love to start that you are little talking about your first steps in Serbia, how you decided to be a coach. Maybe you had some mentors or some important people that because of them you wanted to start to be a coach, because every our viewer know that Serbia is land of basketball. So for us is like when we saw the big results of Serbian and Yugoslavian national team, gold medal here, gold medal there. Of course, we want to be a famous basketball player or basketball coach. Lazar, the word is yours.
Okay, guys, first of all, thanks for your invitation. It's a big pleasure to talk with you about the basketball. Both of you has amazing, let's say, career as a player and as a coaches. And like I said, I hope your visitors and we will enjoy together to talking about a lot of different. Teams. I'll be honest, I forgot what was the first question. How I start to be a basketball player or to be a head coach.
You can also mention as a player or as a coach also. How was your start?
I start as a really young kid. My father pushed me to start to practicing basketball, and that was the love on the first look. And I start to practicing basketball. But to be honest, I was talented for all of sports, and as a young kid, I don't know, I practicing football and basketball, and I was really good in all of those things because I like to play everything in my school, like handball, like volleyball, like beach volleyball, table tennis, everything. And then at the end of the day, I think because in the football and the basketball, my father made decision to push me to continue with basketball because I showed let's say good talent, that I'm talented, and then he forced me to continue with basketball. My career was short. Okay, we won the EuroLeague with FMP. I was 1 year younger than those guys. In that moment was Dan Musli, Branislav Đekić. I don't know who made a career, but from those guys. But that was a great generation of the players. After that, because I'm from Zaječar, a small city on the east of the Serbia, I spent a few years in Knjaževac because in that moment that was filiality of the FMP, and after that I continue with FMP, then go back to play Junior League with Knjaževac, and after that play 1 season in Zaječar, that's the regional league, and practicing with Tamiš, because in that moment I start to studying in Belgrade. That sports academy, I think, to get a license, because after my career I would like to stay in basketball. I don't know in which direction my career will go, but I want to stay in basketball because that's my passion, that's my life. And then after 1 season in Mladost Čačak in Beli in the second league, in that moment Alex Avramović was my teammate and my backup on my position. And after that season, I decide because, to be honest, I think I don't like to talk about myself, but the biggest quality of myself, I think I'm a realistic person. I'm not pessimistic. I'm not optimistic. I'm a realistic person, and I was aware of the situation in Serbia, about the basketball, about the money, about the perspective, and also I was not the guy who like to work a lot in a weight room with my buddies and everything else. And because of that, I think, but from the other side, I'm really ambitious guy, and I made decision, okay, I cannot reach the maximum potential to playing basketball. And then I decide in communication with Basket with Branimir Tadic to finish with my basketball career and start with something different in basketball. And that moment I didn't know in which direction I would like to go, but for sure so basketball journalist was option, some scout, I don't know, assistant coach, and then let's say 6 months I'm writing the reports for Basket, and then with Branimir Tadic we made decision I will go in coaching, and then my career start with his help to be second assistant coach in Mladost Zemun. That was the first year we played in a second league, we won the second league, and then we promote in a first league. On that summer I got opportunity to be first assistant coach to Dragan Nikolic. It was a great season, first season for us. I think we missed with one victory away from the Super League, and then in a third season and a second season in a KLS, I got the chance after fourth round, I think, to be a head coach of Mladost Zemun. I think Slađan Stojković helped me a lot in that moment, and when I got the chance, and that in that season he was sick. I think that was the tumor, or I don't know the real name on English, and he also start to healing himself, and I stay alone. And that moment club react and bring Jovica Antonic to be, let's say, my mentor in that 2 or 3 months. And then he start to struggle with eyes, some problem, and then at the end of the day I stay alone with my assistant, of course, but basically alone without any experienced guy who can push me and help me to progress, to learning and teaching myself how I need to behave, how I need to coach, and everything else. And that way my career started.
And let's say, for example, I would love to ask from you, how was you that you was working with Gagi Nikolic, with Jovica Antonic that you mentioned? What things you was learning? Because I know when I was a young coach, how was for me important to have a mentor, to little to bring me in a direction that because I think for a young coach, maybe the best way that you have a mentor who is helping for you about planning, about many things, to share his experience with you. Because at the moment when we get the chance as a young coach, maybe alone we would just try to find our way, but maybe that way can bring us in a wrong direction. I would love to talk about maybe some examples.
Yes, good
what
question.
was helping you, Jovica Antonic and Gagi Nikolic, for example.
Great question, and I agree with you. In the beginning, I didn't aware of the situation, how much I don't know about basketball, because in that moment I was really young, and to be honest, I never go through the serious system, because my career as a player was correct, nothing special, and I don't want to say anything bad about my coaches as a player, but all of those things, what I work and how I worked. Basically, I never work in a serious system. I'm talking about on the way how I should play basketball. And then with Dragan Nikolic, he teach me a lot with the relationship, with the things, how I should behave in some situation. Also, from the aspect of basketball, in that moment, I know just about the hedge, nothing else. And that time was deny defense, was only one way how I approach the things, and that was the first part of teaching from Dragan Nikolic, from Jovica Antonic. He helped me a lot how I should looking on the creating the teams, I call that now first unit and second unit. I don't like to call that first 5 and second 5, because I never start the game with the best 5. I trying to find the balance all the time between first and second unit. And Jovica Antonic has influence on me on that way, how which 5 should be on the court, who can play with which player, and a young guy with the experienced guy, the things like this. And like I said, he was criticized me a lot, because my approach at that moment, I never was the teach at that time how I should planning the practice, how I should approaching the practice, how I should communicate with the players. And like I said, in those 2 or 3 months, he helped me a lot to understand the basketball on different way. And because of that, I'm really grateful for that cooperation with both coaches. But like I said, I think Slajan Stojkovic helped me a lot, maybe the most, because the cooperation with him was happening in the longest period, and we stay in touch when he go to hospital to healing himself, or how to call that. All the time we was in a communication. Still today we are in communication very often about anything. When I need some how to say suggestion from him or from anyone, I'm not hesitate to call him in any time.
So, for example, we can say for our viewers that Slajan Stojkovic was one of the best scorers ever in the former Republic of Yugoslavia. When was Yugoslavia in that time, maybe was a better league than a former EuroLeague. That happened that, for example, who is winning the EuroLeague, who played EuroLeague from the former Republic of Yugoslavia, they are not winning, for example, the Yugoslavian league. And now would be a question, because we would love always to get the experience from our guests, that let's say you had luck, that you had mentors who were helping for you in the beginning of the career. But what is your advice for young coaches who not have their mentors? How can they find the right way? How they can transform to a coach to be on long term, to be successful, and not to go on a bad way, and then they not have success, and then maybe they are saying, this profession is not for me.
Yes, also good question. Always, no matter who is around myself, we are creating our destiny, we are creating our path, we are creating our system. All of us, it's unique on ourselves. And multiple times people try to compare myself with some coach and say, I don't like it because I'm Lazar Spasic, I'm not, I don't know, Željko Obradović, or I don't know, Dusan Ivković. We are unique person and we are building our own things. If we try to be those coaches, we will be in a problem for sure, 100%. And yes, I had a luck to cooperate with those guys. I had a luck to cooperate with Igor Kokoškov, with Dan Milojević, with Muta Nikolić, a lot of coaches, a lot of basketball people, mastermind, helped me a lot to find my way to build my own system. And that's the most important thing for me. Like I said, for young coaches, the main and the most important thing is to be realistic, to be self-criticize, to be ready to accept the critics, because without that awareness, I think every coach will be in a problem. I think also through my career, we will speak about that, but I think as much as possible to happen bad things for the team, like losing the game, like being a crash, being a fight with players. Only on that way, if you, like I said, if you're a real person, it's possible to progress, to develop yourself on a quicker way, how I like to say something like this. But like I said, your question about those people, they helped me a lot, but I think they helped me a lot because I was ready at that moment to accept all of those critics or suggestions, no matter.
And now it's coming.
Also, the very important thing is actually that you has a passion, like you said, to learn, and you actually kind of be like a sponge. You just listen and try to put it on the court. That's very important to say, because I know I play against Slajan Stojkovic Pixi. He was an amazing player and amazing person. And of course that those kind of advices that you receive from him are for sure very, very good. And of course from Bane Tadic, he's also amazing in that new generation. So of course that you pick up from everybody little by little, and then you actually try to build your own system, which is very good. And now the question is, like, for example, you've been coaching all kind of divisions in Serbia. Can you make a comparison between those kind of levels? What is the details that you actually emphasize and what is making difference big? And of course, then you go to the German Bundesliga, and from assistant coach be first coach, that's a big step, and for me, very good league. Can you make those kind of comparisons for our followers?
Yes, of course. First of all, it's really important when I play basketball in Knjaževac, I played in a second, how to say that on English, fifth leagues. Druga
Yes,
Srpska,
fifth,
fifth
yes,
league.
like second Serbian, but fourth or fifth, yes.
Fifth or fourth league, and then I played in a third league, and then I played in a second league, and then I start to be coach in a second league as assistant coach, then assistant coach in a first league, then again head coach 3 years in a second league, and then 5 years in a first league. It was great experience, and your question, Mladen, was great because from the fourth league of Serbia playing and then be a coach in a BBL league, for me, only difference is sensitivity of the players. Just communication, nothing else, to be honest. They are much more sensitive. They are with a bigger ego than the player on the lower level, and that's it. The quality when you play first division of Serbia and BBL, those players, it's on a similar level. I'm talking about, Oldenburg against Trier. They're here 5% up and down, 10% up and down. The same thing it's in Serbia when I was in Vrsac, 10% up and down with the teams from the 3rd to 10th place. And that with the quality, it's not big difference. I'm talking Serbia and BBL not on the same place. I'm trying to split them, but the biggest difference with the players from both level, it's just sensitivity in communication. Absolutely nothing else. I think my experience, I didn't select that team here in Oldenburg, but I think accepting the information, what I want from my team, it's easier in KLS League than in Bundesliga, because I think how you are going higher, it's much difficult to go much more in details. Jasikevicius spoke about Željko Obradović, how much he adapt in the last, 7 or 8 years, and how much easier thing he tried to build in his system. I think also I'm going too deep in the things around the players, like how much can memorize the things when you give them, if you give them too many information, how they react and the things like this, because we are going too deeply in some things.
So we can say that it's very important your approach to the team and to the personality of the players. If you talk about sensibility, of course, there is 12 different kind of types of players that you are coaching, right? So you must put in, let's say, one field that they need to work and combine together with a good result. That is the actually coach's job previously. Now, the most important thing, like you said, you develop your level and knowledge season by season, and you become better with the more confident to lead those kind of players who has for sure a much bigger ego than, let's say, low level players. But of course players must feel you as a leader, as the guy who actually is taking responsibility if something doesn't work. For example, you give them one kind of motion that you want to play with them, and then you are also, let's say, my opinion is, and my advice is to everybody, to be adaptable. That means that nothing is like a red letter. You need to be, like you said, detail. Some kind of small detail can change the pattern of the game. So that is the most important thing. Like you said, you didn't select those kind of players, but you work with them as assistant coach, and you felt them, the way they're thinking, the way they're approaching the game, the way of their awareness, what kind of date of the game is, is the middle of the season. So you take that responsibility and you actually draw from them the best thing. And that's why when you become first coach, you know the pattern you should go. That is for me also the most important thing, as you can say, to be ready to adapt with those kind of situation, and you really achieve good results, which is the most important thing. And that's also bring you the confidence that you're doing a good job, right?
Yes, you're right. I think the most important thing in our job in, let's say, modern basketball, it's adaptation from the aspect of coaching to the players. And like you said, the biggest question for myself when I accept to be assistant coach, because on the beginning, I reject the 2 offers from Sabah, 1.5 years to go there to be head assistant coach. And then when Oldenburg came, because 3 months before Oldenburg, I have, in that moment, I cannot say offer, but some clubs ask about myself to be assistant coach on EuroLeague level. And I reject that. It will be second or the third assistant coach. And I reject that because I think my personality, it's not to be assistant coach. But when Srđan came and showed me the whole project about myself in the future, for me, the reason why I accept that, it's family, not myself, because I know who I am. I accept that because finally we will be on the same place 2 years. We will spend the time together. I will not have any pressure, like we have to build result. I am part of the system. And the main thing for me, I would like to adapt on the system. I would like to teach, to learn a lot from the head coach and wait the right moment for me to be a head coach. But after a month and a half or 2 months, I decide I will never be assistant coach anytime in my life because I'm not feeling nature in that moment, because my personnel, it's not to be assistant coach. I am for a head coaching job. I can be assistant coach in national team, maybe in NBA one day, but I'm not sure about that. Maybe one day just to have that kind of experience to see how they work and everything else. But to be honest, I'm not for assistant coaching job, because like I said, my personnel will not allowing me to be in that job. And that the main thing what you said, Mladen, the biggest doubt for me when I came here, first of all how I will adapt on that level of basketball, what's going on that level of basketball. I'm talking about the serious player, with not just from the aspect of basketball, from the aspect of personal. Chris Clemons, for example, it's NBA player. He's amazing personal, and he will not allow you to coach him if he's not feeling like he will have benefit. He will have benefit from that. And when I start to be a head coach after 3 days, I was 100% sure it will be okay, because finally I feel okay. That's it. That's what I want, and I'm feeling like I'm feeling much better in that position as a head coach than an assistant coach, because my influence on the floor was not the same. And I want responsibility as assistant coach. I don't have it on the level how I would like to have. And like I said, that adaptation from assistant coach to head coach, it's much easier than from the head coach Vrsac to be assistant coach in Oldenburg. And to be honest, I suffering more than maybe 3.5 months, because like I said, it was not a natural position for me, especially when I go back in Mlado Zemun when I was assistant coach. It was totally different basketball, not anything else. And that was the beginning of my career. It's not the same like now, because now I have my system. I know what I want, how I want, on which way I'm working, and everything else.
And now, if we are at the adaptation, I want to get the information from you, because I am telling for you that I know that we has to adapt. I was changing 8 countries. When I'm going in a new country, I am always reading about history of the country, yes, history of the city. I am trying to learn their language. And when I am entering first time in the city and the sport director is walking with me, I'm saying, I know this is the museum, this is the church, to see that I have interest about them. And I would love to know, to say for our viewers, because you was working in Serbia. I know how is working in Serbia. I was working there 9 years. Then I was started to work abroad. But as a person, you said like sensitivity, but what else you was needed to change? Because I know how you was working in Vrsac. In that way, you was not able to work in Germany for sure, or to communicate that. And my other question would be how much you was now developing your German language, for example, because my experience is that I'm always trying to learn. Even I was working in Denmark, I was learning Danish, that at least I know to say some words with the local players, because every player likes when the coach is trying to say something in their language. Now, that kind of background information I would love to get from you for our viewers.
Yes, since I sign a contract from June, when I go back in Zaječar, I start to learn German, and then I continue with Duolingo immediately when I came here, and I'm still on Duolingo, and I will stay in the morning. I drink a coffee with because I'm still in Germany. I'm going back in Serbia on a Saturday. I drink a coffee with my guys from my coaching staff, and they ask me, hey, what you gonna do with German? I will still continue to learn, because I want to know that language. It's not real to go in Azerbaijan and teaching Azerbaijan, for learning Azerbaijan. That's my opinion, and I will continue to learning German language because now I can understand, I can speak something. I'm not too good, but I progress, and I think if I stay one more year here, I will speak fluently German, and I think that's really important because, like I said, in that moment when Sabah happened to be assistant coach there, and that time I was in communication to go in Greece to be a head coach, and then immediately when that opportunity opened for me for next season, immediately I start privately to learn Greek with teacher in Vrsac. And I think, like you said, Zoran Trivan, it's our legendary coach. I cooperate with him more than, let's say, 8 or 9 years on Teodosic camp. And first thing what he told me, you will go out, you will make career. The most important thing, like you said, is to try to adapt on the culture, especially where he worked out of Europe, because its culture is totally different. But like you said, it's so important because on that way you will get respect from the domestic people, from the people in the club and everything else.
Well, this is interesting really to listen. And let's say now, can we get some background information about Sabah? Because I know it's a very interesting project for you. And how I was reading in the sport media, you was also signing little longer contract. What you can say for our viewers, what should need to be your goal with Sabah, let's say in this season and maybe in the next 3 seasons, what you should need to build and continue. And just to say for you that you are coming after an experienced coach who was working great results in Sabah. So I think now a result pressure you should need to have what you not had in Oldenburg, for example.
Yes, after pressure in Serbia, when you're surviving, that level of pressure will not happen for me anytime because okay, I'm 33 years old, soon will be 34, but next season will be 10 as a head coach for me, and it's totally out of the balance. And my opinion and my experience in a I don't know, in a past, let's say 5 or 6 years, I always was underestimated from the people who cooperate with me and who cooperate or who played against me. And from one side, that's normal because I'm really young. I'm baby in a coaching job. That's true, no matter of my experience. And when Sabah approached me second time, I mean, for the first time happened when I was in Vrsac to be head assistant coach to Rimas Kurtinaitis, I reject that. And when I approach me for the first time, I reject them. For the second time, I reject them. I'm still on assistant coach contract in Oldenburg. I don't want to talk about that private thing, what's happened here, but when Sabah come to me 2 times, I reject them 2 times. And then on the third attempt, I accept to talk with them because we already signed 6 players here in Oldenburg. And I believe my future is here, to be honest. And yes, my family adapt. My son start to speak German, and everything was all right. But when they called me and when we start to talk, it was idea between 2 and 4 years contract. And I didn't talk about them with the contract because basketball in Europe and how much coaches is potentially how much easy they are changing the coach. I want guaranteed about it. That's true, and that's true, and because of that, I have stability here in Oldenburg. They have a plan to give me on 2 or 3 years contract. But okay, let's go back on Sabah. And when they approached me, like I said, and when they showed me the whole plan, like 3 seasons in Europe for sure. Just to go back, for example, where we are as a Serbia basketball country, Azerbaijan next season will have more team in Europe than Serbia. It's crazy. It's crazy. You will have Sabah in BCL, you will have Absheron in qualification for BCL, that for sure means FIBA Euro Cup group stage. You will have Nefci straight in a group stage, and you will have Genče, I think is the name of the club, 4 team in qualification for FIBA Euro Cup. 2 years ago, we played in Vrsac against Sabah, and that was the first time when we connect each other. We played a great game against them. It was almost 5 till the end, and we finished the game. We didn't end the game. We finished the game in that moment, and we show amazing performance in that time. And then they connect with myself. We change the numbers, and everything, let's say, it's history. And then in that moment, Sabah playing qualification for FIBA Euro Cup in Skopje. Bobby Mitev was the coach in that moment. For 2 years, next year season will be third. They go from one team in qualification for FIBA Euro Cup. They go for 4 teams in Europe. One in qualification, potentially will not play, but 3 teams for sure will play in Europe. You can see how much they progress. I'm not sure about the name of the general secretary of the federation. It's Turkish guy. He was the main guy in the project of Banvit with the youth program and everything else. And when he came in federation, he did amazing job, amazing things. He proved that with that action. And like I said, next season Azerbaijan will have for sure 3 teams in Europe. I took a risk on the contract. Okay, as you know, and that moment, I'm not sure who will give you a 3-season guaranteed contract, no matter of the result in Europe. I think
Nobody.
Nobody, yes. And with that contract, they show how much they believe in myself, how much they believe in the whole project. If I'm the leader of that project, and for the first time in my career, I felt that kind of respect for me and for everything what I did and what I achieved in my career. And like I said, they give me everything what I want from not just from the aspect of basketball. It's also about the lifestyle for my family. Of course, we will not move there if sport motive it's not on the first place. That's the main thing. The second thing is the whole environment and the lifestyle for my family. And then on the third place, it's money, like money. And the reason why I choose that project, because I believe a lot we can achieve a lot of good things in the future. But like I said, I don't want to focus on the result, just the result, because if I'm focused on the result, I will feel the pressure, big pressure, and that if you feel the pressure, it's not possible to reach your maximum potential. That's the main thing for me as a coach, to focus on the microcycles of on the 1 or 2 weeks, depend on the moment of the season. And I want from my team, I want to take the best from my team to use every player on the right way and to be the best version of ourselves on every practice. If we behave and if we approach on that way through the system of the practicing, we can expect good result. If we are focusing just on the result, I don't know. I cannot guarantee what's going to happen. I think we did a great job since we start that project with the players. Also, really important thing, and I'm delighted with that. We signed a GM, serious GM. It's not official, and because of that, I cannot talk about the names. But serious GM from a really good league. He's really young, like myself. And club showed. If you ask me how I would like to build a system in one team like Sabah, I will choose one young head coach and I will choose one young GM, and they will build the system. Coach will be responsible for the court, GM will be responsible of the court. With those 2 guys, you can build everything else. That's how I approach and why I am delighted with everything what Sabah did in a previous, I don't know, month and a half or 2 months. And like I said, I really believe in the future of this club, because as you can see, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Baku, it's amazing city. I think in last year that was the city, a second city in the world who progressed the most. And because of that, like I said, the whole project, the whole package, it's amazing. I have opportunity to sign full coaching staff, conditional coach, physiotherapeutic, everything. It's on me. I like that kind of pressure, and because of that's the reason why I accept that. And also really important thing, I think I did a great job here, and it was so important for me. I think I didn't close the door here, and I paid buyout from my pocket, not from Sabah. I paid that buyout to go out. And like I said, for me, the most important thing, when I finish that project in Sabah one day, I will have stable situation from the aspect of financial. I will have 3 years in Europe as a head coach. I will have 1 year in a BBL as a head coach with 37. I will be, I hope I will be one stable person who can choose where I will go after Sabah. I will not be on the pressure, like what's going to happen with money, what's going to happen with family, what we're going to do with this. Also, my son will go in a international school. That the system of that school, it's great because he will continue his his school anywhere in the Europe or in the world because of that system of the working. And like I said, the whole package, it's great for me, not just for me, like I said, because that was not just my decision, it's the decision of the whole family.
Yes, this sounds great, everything what you said, because we can say that for us coaches anyway, we should need to have 2 or 3 years that somebody can say how we were working. But usually in Europe, we can say we arriving and we not have 1 year. Basically, we have 1-2 months to show immediately that we are handling the situation. And in Europe, usually after every season, we are going in another club or even other country. That can happen often with us. And let's speak about now, Lazar, with you about, let's say, about building a system. And we are going immediately for EuroLeague. We were speaking about Final Four also, but before, let's say, we can speak about our teams in Serbia from Red Star and Partizan, because let's say we can say Olympiacos was winning the EuroLeague, but we can say same coach, same system 4 years. Let's say Volkap, Peters, they are 4 years. And how is hard to compete against that kind of system that somebody changing the whole team? Or the whole team. So let's talk about this, what's happening now at the moment in Red Star and Partizan, because also our local players not get chance, but also there are a lot of changes, often changing coach and more often players. How, let's say, make some cooperation between this, because by my thinking in basketball today, not 2 clubs playing against each of other, the organizations playing against other organization. And if your organization in the club is much bigger, you have much bigger chance to be successful on a long term.
Yes, I agree with you. That's what I want to say now about the recruitment, about the Sabah, how tough is to sign player on more than 1 season. And then basically every season you are going in a rebuilding. If it's not rebuilding of, I don't know, for example, in Oldenburg, we signed all of those players on more than 1 season, or 1+1 or 2 season, depend on the players. And now in Sabah, I saw how tough is to sign player on more than 1 season. On EuroLeague level, I think it's the same. Okay, you have few teams who can re-sign the players, but it's just few teams in Europe. Everyone else is the same thing on the level of KLS. It's not possible. Okay, you want to build a system, but that system depends on the players.
Of course.
And if you want to be successful in a long-term term, you have to sign players on the long term, and you don't have financial to sign all of those players, because I think that modern era, everyone likes or want to live faster, to earn money as faster as they can, to go in EuroLeague level for 2 seasons, to do the things as quick as they can. And that's the biggest problem, like I said, not in basketball, I think in everything. And because of that, like you said, you're right 100%. The main reason why Real Madrid and Olympiacos, it's all the time in a Final Four, or CSKA in a previous past years, is the reason, because they have the too many players who's going to stay together. But you're talking about the homegrown players. It's not the same if you're playing in Spain or living in Spain or in Serbia. As you can see with Valencia, how many domestic players they had in the Final Fours. But in Serbia, you cannot behave like in Valencia. You cannot approach on the same way in Spain and in Serbia. And I think it's much more sensitive in Serbia than in Spain. You saw what's happened with Partizan, you saw what's happened with Red Star, you saw what's happened with Željko Bradović, you saw what's happened with Saša Bradović. Both of them, I cannot say the similar situation, but both of them go out, both of them are legend of the club. And both of them, at the end of the day, okay, Željko was not fired, but Saša was fired because too many, for me, sensitive things. Maybe he was wrong about something, but also I think the club has to protect the coaches.
Of course,
that's
the right club.
Yes, and because without coach, you can who will stay there more than 1 season. You cannot build a system, because every coach bring different system in the club, and that's the main reason why they change him, because they want to get instant result. Because president of the boat club. They don't know how many years they will spend as a president. They don't have enough time to wait what's going to happen for 2 or 3 or 4 seasons. Yes. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. You have too many players in ABA League who can play for both clubs. Yes. I don't want to talk about the names, but you can find it. But for them, you need a time. They cannot sign immediately. You cannot sign immediately that player and he will come in Partizan and immediately give you quality. Yes. He needs a time to adapt to the level of competition, contact, everything, intensity of the playing. They need a time. How much Partizan and Red Star fans are ready to wait for that result? Not just them, fans, a president, everybody. And that's the era where we are living right now. And because of that, I think the coaches, I cannot say doesn't have the balls to give the chance to the young players. Because from another side, if you sign him, you need a time. We don't have a time to wait for the players. That's the main thing. It's not about the coaches. It's about the environment. It's about the pressure. It's about everyone. That's how I'm looking on the things.
Yes. So let's say I will say a few things after also Mladen, you can react on it. So let's say I had pleasure that I was had a few days like that I can visit some EuroLeague teams, for example, and I was impressed that I'm not saying names, that maybe you are thinking that somebody's by results is maybe not big, and then when you see in the background how many people are working, like what kind of that is big organization, because not everybody is depending, let's say, on the government financial help, government money. When you want to make a club which is generating money, and that generating money depending on that what kind of budget you have, then you can see that there are 100 people, 200 people behind the organization. And then what I said for that one organization competing with the other organization, maybe somewhere are 200 people and maybe somewhere is only 20, where that on the long term, that 200 will make for you a difference for sure. Let's talk little about Final Four, and first to talk about, let's say, Valencia. I think that is a great hit, what happened now this season with Valencia. Also, few players I know personally. Like, what you think about them? Because I think this was something special, how they played, and Final Four, by my thinking, was maybe that is the maximum what they were making. So they were really very offensive, and I was enjoying Montero's speed, for example, during the whole season, and how they were shooting. What you think about Valencia, and what you think about you as a coach, that those players who played for Valencia, it was maybe a big help for them at the end, that they were feeling we can have a good season, and maybe saying for them now or never. But I'm 100% sure that some bigger clubs will picking some of the best players from Valencia, because for sure Valencia can't give that kind of contracts like other clubs in the EuroLeague. So what do you think about Valencia's season?
Just one remark about it. Lazar speaks a little bit before about Valencia, and you mentioned now. We must be aware that I think they are a unique example that the budgets don't make that big difference, because I think the budget of Valencia is one of the smallest in the league, with Asvel and with Žalgiris, and we see how Žalgiris actually plays. Incredible. Now, the question is about the system. I think that the Red Star and Partizan, like Lazar said, okay, I semi-agree with him about things that he said, but the budget was amazing for both of those teams. And let's say 3 years in a row, our teams didn't reach anything, didn't get any kind of results. You didn't develop any young player. You didn't put him on the scene. And of course, the foreigners actually that you overpay them blow out. Okay, now Valencia has a system. They built a new gym. The president of the Valencia is, I think, the richest person in Spain. And he invests in a good, like Lazar said, good coaching development with the great coaches, bringing the young players that they're going to play. For example, everybody now asking about Pradilla. Now Real Madrid want to sign him. He's also Spanish, very interesting guy. De La Rea, who can play position 1 and 2 combo guard, who is very young Spanish guy. He play amazing also, and he actually had the time. the Pedro Martinez has the system that he keep playing those kind of system. Okay, in the Final Four, in semi-final against Madrid, didn't work. Okay, against Panathinaikos, it works amazingly because there's so many subs and so many bringing the level of the game and intensity of the game in the top. So they play so many fast breaks, they make easy points, easy buckets, they have open shots and everything. That didn't work with Madrid. Okay, Madrid, let's say, is king of club. Okay, if you translate verbally. But they also has very good system. As you can see, there is foreigners, but there is some kind of hierarchy, of course, with the Spanish players. Okay, Campazzo is Argentinian, but he's like Spanish. Scariolo is Italian, but he's like Spanish. Okay, we must be aware, like we said, that the patience make a big difference. For example, we have recently... rest in peace, Duško Vujošević, who actually, with a very small budget, has always very good group of people around him and very good players. They are ready to learn from him, and he really reached results and good players. All those players, he put the money in their pocket, right? Let's to be honest, they are average players, most of them, but they have amazing career, period. Now, for example, you have, I like him. Most people don't like him, Yiannopoulos. He's a crazy dude, but I like him because he's really crazy about basketball. He invests so much money and nothing. I'm afraid a little bit now. We have so big sensibility now that Dubai want to invest so much money, but they will not, for example, they will not reach anything. Why you cut Golemats, right? There is so many different type of questions that you can mark and be, let's say, what will be if that didn't happen. We never know. But now, as a Final Four, you see how important it is how to prepare the team. That was, I think, first Final Four, Pedro Martinez, that was there. But Scariolo also, he never won EuroLeague, but he was in top level all the time. Vrsac has system last 2 decades that he was coach there. Last also 2013, he was champion with Olympiacos. That was last title. Okay, so that's the system. And you have 14 Fenerbahce. Now everybody said that the supporters couldn't come because of the tickets. They didn't allow them. Bullshit, never mind. But it's very important that moment of forma that you're going to have peak performance in that Final Four. That's for me the most important thing. But Valencia for me is a great example for everything. Sorry if I was long.
No. Great opinion. I agree with you. For example, this season we played on a Final Four in Munich, Cup of the German, and it was unbelievable experience for me, to be honest, because the level of organization, I believe, is the same like for EuroLeague. Maybe less interviews and everything else, but in Subgarden in Munich Arena, it's after Valencia probably the best in Europe. Bayern Munich, Alba Berlin, Bamberg, and we were there. And like you said, I think for the competition, like Final Fours, is the main thing, is the moment of the season, the form of the season. And I think basically you cannot control those things. And at the end of the day, it's preparation for that from the aspect of coaching and experience from the past. Experience what they already, when, for example, Olympiacos in the last 3 seasons, they lost 2 finals, I think, and 1 time they lost in a semi-final. That kind of experience, it's really important for the level of the Final Four. And like I said, for example, semi-finals was one of the worst semi-finals I ever watched in a Final Fours of EuroLeague. The same, but from another side, it's totally different. The first game was on I don't know how many points, but was a rough game,
small,
tough game for both teams. And for me, on that way, how Olympiacos played is the way how you should playing in the Final Fours. And then the second game between Real and Valencia, I support Valencia because I fell in love how they playing. I said Hinrichs, the player from Oldenburg, played for Pedro Martinez. And he told me it's so simple, but from another side, the level of the plays, the pace, the level of intensity, what Pedro Martinez won from their player, it's amazing. And I think how he progressed in his career, and what is for you the main thing for one thing in the season. For me, it's recruitment. Which player you're going to sign, because if you made a mistake in July, you will have a problem until end of the season. If you made right moves, you can make some stupid things and some wrong decision through the season, but those players with the right personality will help you to find the ways to stay together. And that's the main thing. And the second thing is communication. We have this season Bamberg and amazing coach Gavel. They're playing nothing special, but they're playing everything in 100%, and everyone was happy to and enjoy to play with each other. That's the point of basketball. A level of the contact, a level of the intensity, how you're gonna do. It's not matter, are you gonna play drop, are you gonna play hedge, are you gonna play flat, are you going to switch, what kind of principles you have in offensive rebound. If everything is not important if you're not doing this on 100%. That's the main reason. I think that's the reason why Bonn and Paris with Thomas Isalo dominate the Europe and the German league. I think at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. As you can see with Valencia, they're playing really easily, I mean, from the aspect of principles, but they're playing everything in 100%. Role, it's perfect, defined. And that's the reason why they achieve what they achieve. Also, for me, maybe I'm more impressed with Ibo Navarro and Ihaha last season, not this season, season before that. How they played with 12 players in rotation, what I read it from him, how he approached of the teams, how he recruit, how he select the players. And he said, I will never build the player for top level of EuroLeague, like to be leader of the team, but we will create a lot of great role players. And for me in Sabah, for example, it's much more important how to find that 8th player, because we will play with 7 players in BCL and 2 or 3 domestic players, but I will have 8 players in rotation. And that 8th spot, it will be clear, okay, you will be out for BCL potentially if everybody it's health. But if someone injured, you have to be secure for that injury. And that spot, for me, it's more important than main role. That guy who is first guard, who's shooting guard, he's going to play 25 minutes. He's okay. But that guy who should work, play domestic league, and adapt on everything what I want, if I made a mistake with him, and if he's wrong personal, I will have big problem. Big problem. And like I said, for me, the most important thing is recruitment. We go far away from the Final Four now. We can go back. Okay, final game was great game. I think big influence from the referee, from Sreten Radovic in a 3 decision in a row. And I think it was not the right moment to make that kind of decision. Everything is there. In that level of basketball, one decision can decide everything. He made 3 decisions: 1 foul on Hezonja for 3-point, 2 fouls in the bonus. It's too much. And also decision last possession for Olympiacos, instead of when he shoot the ball, instead of charging foul and 2 free throws for Real Madrid, when the ball it's in the air, you call foul on, I think, Fournier. And that moment, instead of Real go on +8, they go, I think, on +4. I think, I'm not sure about the details, but we are talking about the game. Great game. I'm really, how to say, delighted how Scariolo prepared the game without bigs, how he adapted, how he changed the defense, how Vrsac and the decision to put Jones from Tariq Jones, yes, to finish the game. He didn't play any minutes on the beginning, and I think that decision give them a lot of stability in the defense. And when they start to control the defense, they start to play in offense with a lot of confidence. That's my opinion about those things. Sure.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you, because as you can see, Madrid start amazingly game, and they really has game in their hands. You know, they control the game. Scariolo adapted great, because without bigs, you play with the 2 forwards, you know. And then on the other side, you have so many bigs. And actually, Vrsac responds very well. He put Milutinov on the bench in second half, because he understands that he's kind of slower. He needs more athletic guys like Fall and like Jones. But even that period of time, even Hall didn't play. You put Tariq Jones, who didn't play at all, but he could guard position 2 and 3, you know, sometimes in one, and Hall can't do that. So that's small details that make big difference and big changes. That's for me winning the game. I cannot say about the referees. Of course, there is always going to be some kind of, let's say, talk about that. Of course, they choose those kind of calls. For me, also was a couple of mistakes, especially those foul that he called on Campazzo against the World Cup when it was bonus. I think it was vice reverse, and that could change the game. And even that time, listen, he also on the free throws they make two or three offensive rebounds, and they have Luis has a 3-point shot for tie the game. You know?
Yes. But yes, I don't like to talk about the refs, but on that level, you cannot take that kind of responsibility. And we should talk about it.
Yeah, everybody said that those 3 referees actually don't deserve to be in the finals. Everybody said, but you never know.
But to be honest, I meet Roberto Tremoser this season. He's really interesting guy. After the Cup semi-final when Alba destroyed us, he came to me and talked to me. I was really impressed with him, how he approached to me. And I think I talk with my friends after 30 minutes of the game. Hey, look, they are doing amazing job, amazing referee in the finals. Great job, 20 to 38 minutes. And then 2 or 3 decisions without absolutely any reason who help a lot to Olympiacos. And people talking, I didn't follow a lot Olympiacos because I follow too many things. To be honest, I didn't follow a lot EuroLeague because I focus much more on the BCL, on the market where we can find the players. And then people talk all the time about Olympiacos and refereeing, all the time. I think that's not necessary. You have to find a way to fix that.
Yes.
That's true. Hey guys, I need to go because my neighbor has some medical issue. I'm really sorry. You can continue. We'll be in touch. Lazar, it was great honor to talk with you, okay? And keep in touch, okay? I need to go to drive my neighbor, okay?
Okay, don't worry. Everything's fine. Thank you.
Okay, bye, Mladen. Ciao.
Bye.
So now, Lazar, we were saying, let's speak about it, that we can speak about coaching style, we can speak about referees, about what we want, but at the end, on the big games, are the players' quality and the players' character are deciding. Let's say I would love to know from you on Final Four with which players you was satisfied, because I'm just telling for you, for me, Peters was satisfying me so much on the both 2 games. I was feeling on him every time when he was taking a shot or he was taking how to finish, that I saw that he has the character, that he was deciding, I will be today the winning man. It was not just then I am taking the shot. For example, for me, maybe you are not agree with me, but in Hezonja, I didn't see this. In Hezonja, I saw this, that I want to score. But in Peters, I was feeling like I want it so much. I need to make it for the team. So let's say for me, for which players you had great experience from the Final Four with the performance. Of course, for me, Fournier was very stable, very nice organizing, very nice making advantage for his teammates after that he's beating one-on-one his player. But let's speak about performances, because we can say also that when Serbia and Yugoslavia was winning so many gold medals, okay, it was nice results, but maybe sometimes Dejan Bodiroga saying, last 3 minutes, I'm the king of the court, and I will finishing everything.
Yes, I agree. And I think with the same approach was with Fournier and with Hezonja. But like you said, I like a lot Feliz and Thomas Volkap. I think both of them did a great job in aspect of defense, stability in offense. They are the guys who will do also Peters. They will do everything for the winning, not for themselves. And then always in your team, you have to find a guy who will do everything just to winning the games. And that's so important. And always I will respect always that role player more than stars in the team. And when I spoke with my GM here in Oldenburg and with my GM now in Sabah, I already spoke about that role players, because I think it's much more important how and which player we're going to sign on that spot. who, because I'm really clear with information when I speak with players, very, very clear, very strict. I told them very clear what I want and how I see them. If you prove I'm wrong, I don't have any problem to accept it and change that role. But let's start from that, and then we will see in which direction it will go. But like you said, I agree with you. Too many amazing black Campazzo. It's amazing. Campazzo was great. Also, I cannot choose just one or two players who decide the game or who approach the game on the right way. I'm always talk about the team and how Olympiacos playing all the time, a level of the contact, how they play in the defense, how they destroyed Fenerbahce in the contact games was amazing. They cannot find the situation of the to try to prepare open shot or anything like this. But for me, that role players, it's always more important than the main players. Like you said, on one side it's Peters, on one side it's Hivolka, but on another one it's maybe Feliz and Campazzo. Also, Yuki, as you can see, you'll go in I don't know, after 16 minutes he go on the court and then play 2, 3, 4 minutes, then go back, and all the time he was active from the bench to support his teammate. And that's the reason why, as you can see, Real, Pablo Lasso, Chus Mateo, Scariolo, all of them change the coaching all the time, but system keep them to be all the time a really serious contender to be on the Final Four, and then on the Final Four, Real, Real, it's always danger.
And let's go now to a nice topic, how we finish now this EuroLeague Final Four. I think it would be great experience to hear the coaches from you about, you was mentioning recruiting, but now I'm saying for you one topic about recruiting. When I was leaving Serbia, and you was working in Vrsac, Oldenburg, and now Sabah. So when I was living in Serbia, I wanted to get in the new countries, let's say new experience in that way, that now I will be a coach of a team that maybe there is one import player, maybe there is two import players, maybe there is 3, 4, 5. Then maybe how is the team when I have one American or 2 Americans or 3 Americans or from the Balkan players? What is happening when I have 1, 2, 3? Because I would love to get some information and your experience to say, I'm now not saying my experience because you are our guest, that how you should need to handle different. Because not the same that in your import players, you have 1 Balkan player or more, or you have 1 American player or more. Because what Mladen said also, there are different personalities in the team, and that we need to handle. And when the results are not going, who is always fault? The coach. And always players like to complain, the system is not good, communication is not good, organization not good. Doesn't matter if the player is making a mistake with an open shot. So I would love to talk about us, like when you are recruiting the team, how much you are looking this also from, so you want to sign good players and you want to sign main players, and you said you want to sign a good 8 player. But how much you are also looking the nationalities, for example, because in coaching, we can have problems, for example, if we are not handling good this when we are making our team.
I think the main thing, no matter where you're working, is to find domestic players. When you find domestic players, then you can see what you want from import, because domestic player will, no matter where you're working. I know how much problem you have here in Germany to find the players, domestic players, because here is the rule, it's 6 + 4 or maximum you can sign 8 players, but 6 can play. I'm talking about the foreigners. In that case, when we talk about in the beginning about that, I would like to find 5 domestic players and then give less money to foreigners, but sign 6 foreigners and try to build a team with 11 players. And then you are sure if any injury happen, you are right, because you have enough swingmen, enough players who can play on multiple position. And then you are right. It's not necessary to go in any risk to changing the players through the season. That's something what I would like. For example, in Vrsac, I think for 2 seasons I changed 1 player. I think, I'm sure, but Yes, I'm sure about that. 1 player for 2 seasons. But the main thing is the personal and domestic players. When you find domestic players, then you can focus on foreigners, because you can find a lot of Americans on the market. In Vrsac, for example, I choose to sign 2 players for 4th league in Germany, then sign some rookies, for example, because the personal what I have, information what I have about their personality was great, and I choose personality before quality. That was a good players, but that not the player who will make a difference with individual quality. And I want from the system to give us quality, from the system to find 1, 2, or 3 players will go out because they will play a good season through the system, not through the individual quality. On the situation here in Oldenburg, it's a little bit different, because I take a team like assistant coach, and then I have to adapt a little bit differently. For the first time in my career, I felt how much I progressed in the last 5 months, because a lot of weird situation happened to us, bad, where I can find a way to fix it and the things like this. But like you said, always first domestic players, and then you can see, especially, for example, now I have situation where my 1 player costs more than the whole budget for Vrsac in a whole season, for example. And now in that moment in May, the players are the most expensive, but in July the situation is totally different. Maybe more expensive player will be cheaper,
yes,
in the moment in July than now, for example. But depend what you want, depend how much your club is stable, how much your club want to pay, how much the people in the club understand the situation. Everything have influence of the selection of the team. And like I said, you have to find domestic players, and I think domestic players you have to find in January, in February, not in May or June. But in Azerbaijan it's totally different, because you don't have too much domestic players, and everything, let's say everything what make a sense to be in Sabah will be in a Sabah. But I will go, because I didn't follow a lot the league, I will go in, like I said, first year I want to use to build the system, and then after 1 year, then you can resign the players, you can find some good domestic players, and then you can start with serious system from the second league, from the second year. I don't know which competition we're going to play in the second league, because as you can see, we don't know what's going to happen with NBA Europe, Eurocup, EuroLeague, FIBA, ULEB, a lot of questionable, a lot of things where we are not sure, but we will see. Because of that, we have to go day by day, step by step, week by week.
yes. Well, then with one topic we can close our talking. Let's speak about now little about the Serbian men national team. We were now little talking about global basketball, and we can say now global basketball that almost like in football, every country knows to play basketball. We can see just World Cup, Eurobasket, that happening always surprises. And we can say now for our Serbian national team that for us really becoming a must, that all the best players has to come, and we need to play with them. Anyway, it can happen some bad surprises. I was very happy to read that Jokic will playing and Bogdanovic will playing. What is your prediction for now our men national team? Because I am talking about it that maybe in the next few years we can still try to make some good result, but slowly becoming the problem, the position of the point guard. And I am believing that the young Topic can be a person to be our first point guard, because if we are talking about the best times in Yugoslavia and in Serbia national team, we must to say that we had always extremely good point guards. Aleksandar Đorđević, Saša Obradović, Miloš Teodosić, and also before the earliest ages. So what you think about the short term about the Serbian men national team, and what we can expect maybe in the long term? Because we are always waiting that somebody is coming, and let's say Nikola Jokic was coming just like this, but we will not have always that kind of periods that some kind of superstars are just coming, because we must to say that our Serbian men national team is not the same with Nikola Jokic and without Nikola Jokic. We are not anymore like before, that maybe we can send the B team of the Serbian national team and maybe we can compete for a medal in a Eurobasket.
Yes, you're right. First of all, for me, maybe I'm a little bit subjective, but for me, Nikola Jokic is the best player ever basketball player for me, because no, but his influence on the basketball, I can put on the same level Steph Curry and Michael Jordan. But I think the way how much he is consistent in that long period and how much his influence on the basketball is amazing, and how he behave and how he is as a person, it's crazy. It's totally crazy. And I think they stolen from him 2 MVP titles, because it's clear Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, it's not his level. I think Nikola Jokic is tired for himself, and then
he was already
else.
3 times MVP. That is why, not to give.
Yes, but I don't care. He deserved to get this title. That title with the Embiid and with everybody, it's crazy. Shai Gilgeous is the best player in the best team, but he's not the MVP. That's the real and the most important thing. For us as a national team, I think we will not have any problem to playing on the top level of competition in the future, because I don't know how, but we have too many talented players. As you said about Topic, for me, he can be maybe one day the best point guard ever from Serbia, because I like him as a person a lot. He's amazing how he behave in that ages and what he go through, and I believe the God will give him everything back for everything what's happened to him.
Maybe he became now more stronger after the problem that he had.
I think he's enough strong. I think he's great. He's great, and he will be great without any doubt. Also about the result, I think everything will be all right, but I don't know how, because the situation between in Serbia, between Federation and Kales, everything is crazy. And first of all, we have to build our own system. And as you can see, Lithuania as a basketball country, they didn't have any serious result in I don't know how many years in the past, for sure 10. But they built the league. As you can see, Lietuvos Rytas won the BCL. Žalgiris represent themselves, amazing. They are losing in their domestic league. How many domestic players go out from that league, because that league is serious. Arena, it's not every game, but it's almost sold out. And I said, if you build, if you want to play ABA League, play ABA League. But if you play ABA League and you are not playing in Europe, you must play KLS League. Can you imagine what's going to happen if we play with 10 teams in Serbian League? Just 10. And put the quality on the same place, on one place, and put the rules like 1 million budget, you must have it. For example, it will be crazy. And for Partizan and Red Star, it will be good to playing in those places and focus much more on EuroLeague. For example, if they got that license to be franchise or however. But I think everything's going to start from that. Everything. We have a lot of problem now with college, a lot of problem. And I found a way how to protect everybody, because that money, it's crazy. First of all, it's not just about the money, how much they will get now and for how much money they will play in, I don't know, next 4 or 5 years. But when they finish that career, they should go back and play for shit of money. If you compare what I got it in NCAA, I found a way, but I think it's not possible. With the contract, if for example, he go through the youth system of Partizan and I don't know, LSU want to sign that player, 80% of full amount of money for 4 seasons will go to Partizan. Just 20% will go for that player. It's enough money to protect him, to protect his future, and the most important thing, that club will get some money for that, what he did. And when you sell, and for example, I don't know, one player go for 1 million for 1 season. If club like Mega earn 800,000 euros from 1 season, he will earn 3 or 4 million in 5 years. And that make a sense for those clubs to work. And if he, for example, earn 1 million, 800,000 to the club, 2,100, it's totally enough for that player to earn for 1 season, I think. And he will live perfectly for that money. And then when he finishes the season, he will have enough motivation to fight to earn more money and to play on a serious level. How I, from Vrsac, my player play for, I don't know, 1,000 euro, I don't know, 2,000 euro, and then he go on college for 300,000.
Yes.
How he deserved to get that amount of money. And when he finished those 5 years, he will get diploma, and what? He will come back to play basketball for 200, for 2,000. It's not possible. But
Yes.
we will see what's going to happen.
Yes, I agree with you. Just let's say, you was talking about the college. Now I'm little talking about my experience in some countries that federations wanted to protect local players to play, and they made the rules like first two quarters you must to have 1 or 2 players who are local and under 20, or maybe during the whole game you must to have 1 player. What sounds good. But in that kind of way, you will not making a player. And the other way is the next, that you must to give bigger salary for these players. Because in no one country existing, because if you need 1 or 2 players on the court, you need to have 4 or 5 during the season, because they will be injured. But you need to give for them good salary, because there are many clubs in the first division and everybody wants to get the best. And what is happening? These players until under 20 are earning much more salary what they will earning when they are becoming 21. And what you are saying also is a big psychologically problem for the player, that before I had this worth and now I am worthing less. And also the player can say like the club is not respecting me. This is not true. Just because of these rules are depending of the salaries. And this is what was our talk. I think the aim of it, that today everybody wants to earn money fast, but that is not the best way if you want to be a good player. Because if you are really investing a lot of work in yourself, and in long term, if you are thinking, you not need to choose that way, what is shorter, faster, immediately giving you more money, because on long term maybe you will be not a player like you was before. Like let's say, for example, before of you we had a talking with Radvan Slimane, who is the legend of the basketball from Africa, and he said for us that for him was very much sorry when he was younger. He went to play in the Arabic Gulf, where he had a lot of big money, than to play in Europe in the age 24, 25. And now with his mind today, he would go before in Europe to play for less money, to be in a good system, to be with good coaches, and then money will come in later. You have time, because now this college, what is happening, this we will see just after years, that those talented players who are coming from Serbia, Lithuania, Spain, and Africa, and I don't know from which countries, when they are going to the college and they are staying 3-4 years, and when they are coming back to the European system, the good European leagues, then we will see that these players, how will be able to play. Because let's say, for example, we can say, I think it was a marketing trick for Partizan to bring Murinen, who was the star of the Eurobasket, as a young player. And let's say maybe he had some good movements, but we were able to see that Murinen was not able to play for Partizan. And I'm not 100% sure if now he's spending in the college 2 years, 3 years, that he will coming back to Europe and he can play immediately EuroLeague. I'm not 100% sure about it, but this we will see just after a few years, because I am afraid that we will losing at the end lot of talents who was needed to be maybe superstars. But I can understand everybody, so a lot of people want stability, and I can understand. And just to say for you, this also, anyway, I'm not against for college. This is a good thing. Just we should need what you said, to try on a good way, what get back the clubs, players also to be careful, because if you are earning 1, 2, and 3 million euros and you are coming back to Europe and your next contract is 10 times less, for example, of course that psychologically you will feeling yourself very bad, because not everybody has mentality or serious mindset that, yes, I understand. This is not because I'm a bad player. This is like the conditions, what is happening in the new era of basketball. I don't know, Lazar, do you want something to add more?
That's it. It's big pleasure for me, and I enjoy it because I love it. I like a lot to talk about the basketball, and no matter what is the theme, and I hope the visitors will enjoy a lot. And like I said one more time, thank you for your invitation.
I'm 100% sure. We tried with Mladen to get some of your experience. I think everything what you said about building the team, about coaching, that can be very useful for young coaches and also experienced coaches, because in basketball coaching, the best that we are trying to learn from the experience from other coaches from different level, from different country, because always we can get some idea how we as a person can be successful more in our profession. Thank you very much, Lazar, that you was our guest in the Basketball Insights, and I am wishing for you all the best with Sabah. And just to say for you, I hope that soon I will see you also in the staff maybe of the Serbian men national team. That is why I wanted to finish the topic with the Serbian men national team. All the best for you, Lazar, and we will keep in touch.
All the best to you, Honor. Thank you.
Okay, ciao, ciao.